Border crossings hit a 50-year low. Also, over 100,000 arrests have been made by ICE, and we have now crossed the 100,000 deportation mark. Let's check it out.
All right, now to the southern border, where officials are saying that arrests of illegal immigrants in the month of March were the lowest they've been in at least 5 decades. CBP reporting roughly 7,200 arrests, a dramatic decline from the numbers we were seeing just a few months before that. And as Border Patrol agents work to stop the flow of illegal immigration into the country, ICE agents are working to move illegal migrants already here out of the country. Border correspondent Allie Bradley is live for us in Del Rio, Texas with more. So, Allie, are the removal numbers as significant as those plummeting entry numbers?
Yeah, so they're starting to go up here, Nicole, since the start of that administration. What we can tell you is they're on average deporting 1,400 people a day. So since these deportation efforts began, they've actually removed just over 100,000 individuals. That is according to Assistant DHS Secretary Tricia McLaughlin. Now, they've also arrested at least 113 individuals since January 20th. Now, this all comes as
So over 100,000 deportations, 113,000 arrests. This is excellent news right here. And then you have a 50-year low in crossings.
DHS data that we exclusively obtained via sources show that there are still 7.69 million active ICE cases. Of those cases, 1.48 million have a final order of removal. So that means a judge said they need to go, but they haven't yet. More than 217,000 of those individuals are convicted criminals, according to the data.
Man.
Now, when we look at where the individuals with an order of removal are from, Honduras tops.
That's a lot of people. Almost 7.7 million active cases with ICE, and then 1.4 million have orders of removal. So I think they will go after those people first. And then a lot of this is from Central and South America: Honduras, Guatemala, Mexico, El Salvador, Nicaragua. You know, they have everything with the exception of Haiti and China. In Cuba, a lot of this is coming from, like I said, Central and Southern America.
The list, more than 267,000 of those individuals, more than 256,000 are from Mexico, and nearly 40,000 are from China. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem floated the idea of daily charges for every person with a final order of removal. Take a listen.
Every day, as people recognize that there are criminal penalties for overstaying, especially after you have final removal orders, there's also financial penalties. For every day that you're here for a final removal order, it could be $700 a day penalty. So if someone has been here for years, past the date of their final removal order, it could be tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and that's a consequence they could face if they don't self-deport.
Is that new, or is that under Title VIII?
That's always
already
been in place, but it's got the potential to be enforced. Now, we're not saying that we are going to enforce it, but people need to realize it's not just going to be a crime, and it's not going to be that if we pick you up and have to deport you ourselves, that you never get to come back. There could be financial devastating consequences as well.
Now, Nicole, we've regularly heard Border Czar Tom Homan call on Congress to allocate additional funding to these deportation efforts because he says they need bed space. When they arrest these individuals, they have to go through some process. They're not just put on a plane and parachute.
I mean, it's a double whammy. You may never be able to come back into the United States, and you may owe tens of thousands of dollars. So I recommend self-deportation is the way to go.
It out. They have a process they need to go through, and they also need more money for planes in these deportation flights. So they're waiting on that. Of course, we're seeing other sheriffs jump on board to some of these immigration efforts as well. They're going through some training processes right now to help out. Nicole.
All right. So, Allie, on the other side of things, what can you tell us about the number of people coming into the country right now?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, they're the lowest that we've seen in the last 5 decades since the 1960s. We were able to get our hands on these numbers via CBP that shows just how many individuals came in the month of March. So what we can tell you here is that the number of arrests made by federal immigration agents working at the U.S.-Mexico border totaled 7,180. That's what you're looking at there. Now, officials within CBP who were agents back in the 80s and 90s, they say these numbers are jaw-dropping, and they never expected to see the change happen so quickly. Deputy Border Czar Mark Hall tells us he has never seen numbers like
Look at this nonsense. Look at this foolishness right here. This is what was happening under Joe Biden.
this in his 41 years of enforcement. In March, CBP data shows on average they're seeing just 232 apprehensions a day across the entirety of the southern border. That is 9 sectors. Now, Ron Vitello, we also talked with him. He is a supervisory agent right now with Customs and Border Protection. He was also a former chief of Border Patrol. He says that the morale has completely shifted. These guys under the Biden administration didn't feel like they were able to do their job, saying that they were basically the middlemen in this whole operation. But now they feel empowered to do the work and to keep the border secure. Nicole, of course, they're looking for that full operational control. 0 crossings is what they want. Nicole?
Absolutely. All right. Allie Bradley live for us.
0 crossings is the goal. Now, I mean, of course, morale is up because it's like being a police officer and not being able to do your job. You have to let people go, or it's like in New York when they're letting people out of jail for committing crimes. They get out the same day. The police didn't like that because they were just arresting people and their hands were tied, and then the criminals would get back out and commit more crimes. So I'm glad that morale is back up and they're able to do the job they were hired to do. They want to do the job because they applied to secure the border. Of course, they have some corruption down there with some people in there that are corrupt, but they were hired to secure the border and protect the American people. But check this out. In perspective, illegal border crossings for March dropped even further to just over 7,000 a month. That's lower still than the 8,300 for February, and down 94% from March 2024 when 137,000 people crossed. So September 2024, you have October, then November when Trump won the election, started to dip down a little bit. Then you see as January came around, January 20th, I'm sure it plummeted. And I'm sure a lot of these 29,000 was before January 20th, people trying to get over before Mr. Tom Homan came into power. And then you have February and March. These are great numbers. Look, 0 is the goal, but I would take 8,000 people crossing over 53,000 or 56,000 people crossing the border, and a lot of them getting away. These people here, a lot of these are being caught, apprehended by the Trump administration, and not letting them go. They're sending them back. So here is more perspective for you right here. U.S. Border Patrol nationwide encounters from 2022, 2025. If you go to January of 22, 186,000. December 2023, almost 400,000, 370,000 people. And then you have it. This is why I'm so happy. I know there are people that say we have to get millions of people out of the country. We're not going to get everybody out. Look, it's like this. Border crossings have capped. They've stopped. They've pretty much become non-existent. You have 7,000, but it's nothing compared to what it was. And then, so you have this, people come in, is like this, and then you have deportations, slowly chipping away at that number, getting people out that are in here that shouldn't be here. The criminals, the violent criminals, people with orders of removal, gangbangers, rapists, getting those people out. So, yeah, things are getting better. They have gotten much better. And I'm going to show you part of this video. 17 felon migrant suspects deported to El Salvador under Title 8 authority. Tom Homan is on Fox News discussing this matter right here.
Administration uses its Title 8 authority to deport more violent criminal migrants to El Salvador's prison. Among them, 7 alleged Trinidad Agua members, plus one of the gang leaders. 6 are implicated in sexual abuse of a...
Yeah, these people were inside of our country. They don't need to be here. They need to be in El Salvador in that mega prison.
Minor and 3 suspected murderers. Border Tom Homan joins us now. Tom, welcome back to the program. You guys promised that you were going to do this. These folks were under final deportation order. This is why you were able to get rid of them quickly, right?
Yeah, like I said last week when we talked, Lawrence, I said, you know, despite what Judge Brosberg says, we're going to continue to arrest members of MS-13 in Tren de Agua and remove them under Title 8. We'll hold off on the Alien Enemies Act while that's all being litigated, but we're going to take these people off the street every day, 24/7 across this country. We're not letting up.
You know, Tom, I want to get back to that final deportation order because some of these cases are taking years to get through. Is there any way to speed up the process to get that final deportation order?
Look, we're looking at expedited removals, looking at voluntary return, but, you know, we need EOAR, the immigration courts need to, you know, reestablish, last cases first, right? Those immediate cases that came across the border, litigate them first. But immigration judges, we need more immigration judges, and I think more action on the most violent first, right? Let's concentrate on the criminal aliens. But under current structure, those who are in detention get a hearing within like 40 days. If you're not in detention, it can take 5 to 7 years. So we need to make sure ICE continues doing what they're doing. Focus on the public safety threats, national security threats, lock them up, detain them, because they get attention first. So we got to just expand on what we're currently doing and put more bad guys in detention, have the hearings done quickly.
So in the final days, Tom, the past administration tried to extend TPS. So the administration got rid of it. Your administration under Donald Trump's leadership got rid of it quickly.
Yeah, that's look. Let's just say, okay, let's just say 8 million people came across under Joe Biden. I don't know the exact number, but the encounters were about 8 to 10 million. Many of those people got released. Let's just say roughly 8 million people, you know, on the low end. Don't know. About 8 million people here illegally under Joe Biden. So, but Trump, let's just say he gets rid of 500,000 in a year in 4 years. That's 2 million. So you have people, again, the border crossings are down here, 8 million people, and it goes down to 2 million, down 2 million people less. So down to 6 million. J.D. Vance gets elected. If he runs for president, start chipping away at that number again. So we're headed on the right track. Streets are safer. America's safer because of this. 100,000 people being deported, many of them violent and dangerous criminals that we're going after first. So this is a victory. Despite what the courts are doing, this is fantastic because they have many tools they can use. Title 8, people, you know, they go after violent criminals, people that really should not be here, and people with order of removals. Those have to be a priority. So of those 7.7 million, 1.4 million, let's say they get rid of those people in the first year, that would be great. I would love it, 1 million deportations. But I suspect we might see, well, I don't know, 100,000 in the first couple months is really good. So we might even see upwards of 1 million people deported in the first year. So we'll leave it at that. More numbers will be coming out as the days come on, the weeks go on, the weeks go on, and the months. We'll see how that number stacks up in that first year. So we'll be giving an update, see what that number is. But all right, guys, thanks for listening. Like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thank you. Take care.